me congratulate those who are here in this month of Ramadan, which is a month that should give us ability to understand better our responsibility towards each other and towards the society we live in. And it should actually bring us in masses out against injustices that we see taking place around the world. But also, let me say that I'm very disappointed that there are not thousands and thousands of people here. Thousands and thousands of people from different backgrounds, from all the school of Islamic thought, and indeed from non-Muslims, because the issue of justice is not particular to one group, one nationality, one belief. It's actually something that even a little child understands and should understand. The concept of justice and injustice and zulm and mazlumin. This is something that is there on every child. What do we do with our children that when they grow up, they fail to understand that basic concept. They forget that basic concept. And this is actually a question for all of us. All of us who are involved in this society and other societies. But let me say one thing, that our brothers in Bahrain do understand the concept of justice. And they are standing up for it. And they are giving their lives, their livelihood, and indeed every aspect of their living for that prize. And it's our duty to stand up by them. And what the regime of Khalifa family have done in the last few years is to show that there is no way they are willing to have a negotiated settlement addressing the needs and aspiration and democracy of their own people. And because they don't want to address that, they have sold Bahrain to the foreigners, bit by bit, meter by meter, kilometer by kilometer, to United States, to Great Britain, to Israel, to Saudi Arabia, and to anybody else who will support them to stay in power against their own people. And this is the reality. What we have seen in the last month is actually the last word, that they are not going to go for negotiation. What they did to Bakhtar Party, what they're doing to the human rights activists, and now what they're doing to take the tool of citizenship, which is actually a right, and denying it to very most respectable people of their own nation. And what is the international community is doing? What is the British government is doing? We just had an election. People went and said, we want democracy. We want to be masters of ourselves. What about the Bahrainis to be masters of their own future? Why are we denying them those rights? And what we need to do, we need to make sure. I tell you one thing, you're not going to convince the regime of Khalifa family. You have to force them. Now, this is really clear. And what is really so worrying is the fact that now the only way forward seems to be that people in Bahrain have to struggle one level up and actually take matters in their own hand and force the Bahraini government in accepting their rights and basic needs and aspirations. And I think for the rest of us, we need to put enough pressure on the British government, our American government, and we need to convince the ordinary people in this country to be friends and protectors of Bahraini people. The government is not going to do it. They need to be forced here in the same way that the regime in Bahrain needs to be forced. It is up to me, you and others to do that, to bring the awareness, to make sure that people will understand that the problem is it is at the bottom depends on the British government and international community that is supporting and prompting his regime to be able to commit these acts of barbaric acts against his own citizens. So let me say that let us unite. Let us make sure that we will put pressure on the British government, which is our responsibility here as British citizens, to put pressure on the British government by bringing the ordinary Brits and our own sort of communities together to address this level of injustice which is taking place. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.